Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We're going to do Exodus 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. We'll see this morning. First things first, kind of I guess confession time or accountability time here. I'm in kind of a weird space this morning. I don't feel terribly great as far as my health goes, but I'm not dying. I just still have a cold. And I was taking some colloidal silver that I got from Charlie Bear that knocked it out pretty good a few days ago, and then I stopped taking it. Now I have a cold again, and I'm not happy about that. But also been doing a lot of research. I had a conviction on tattoos because I was thinking, some more tattoos would be cool. And I have a bunch already, and I would like more. Well, I got to reading on that, and I've had previous instruction from Pastor Joe and Sister Kate, namely Sister Kate, and I've read up on it before, and there's a line, Old Testament, I believe it's Leviticus, making marks upon your body for the dead. Don't cut your body for the dead, and don't make marks upon your body. So my interpretation was, well, as long as your tattoos are not for the dead, you're good. Yeah, that's not the case. Not based upon my current interpretation. And I was watching Zach Bauer at New to Torah on that as well. And long and short, making cuts on your body, don't cut your flesh. This whole arm right here, that's covered in tattoos, it's got probably about 1,000 cuts on it from a dark period in my life. Because sometimes feeling something is better than feeling nothing, even if that something is just pain. And when you're well acquainted with pain, sometimes when there isn't any, you feel like there ought to be. So these are long since physically healed scars, but I was giving all that up to the Father this morning, repenting for cutting my flesh and for these tattoos that I have. And my tattoos are not friendly tattoos. They're not Mickey Mouse. They're not, dancing bears. They're, I got them while I was drumming in a metal band. And so we'll just leave it at that. So I'm in this weird kind of headspace and heart space this morning that getting out of my own way and letting the Father drive the bus, and being repentant of heart for things that I've done in the past that I shouldn't have done, that even if I didn't know that I shouldn't have done them, I did. And let's be logical. There's a part of you that knows when you do these things that you shouldn't be doing this, but you do it anyway. You transgress the law, transgress the will of the Father. So that's just where I'm at this morning. So now that we've had our usual 4 or 5 minute long intro that has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about, let's jump into what we're going to talk about. So if you'd flip to Exodus, Shemot, flip to Exodus 4, please. We are reading out of the scriptures, and actually, why I say this intro has nothing to do with what we're about to read. It does, because I'm going to show you guys something you may or may not have noticed the last time you read this, if at all. So, and if you notice that there's a rifle butt right here, that's because there's 3 dogs running around that aren't my dogs, and they eat my chickens. So I've had about enough of that. 4. And Moshe answered and said, if they do not believe me nor listen to my voice and say Yahweh has not appeared to you, basically saying, what if they don't believe me, right? And Yah said to him, what is it in your hand? And he said, a rod. And he said, throw it on the ground. Yah said, throw it on the ground. So he threw it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moshe fled from it. And Yahweh said to Moshe, reach out your hand and seize it by the tail. So he reached out his hand and took hold of it, and it became a rod in his hand. So that they believe that Yahweh Elohim of their fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, of the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob has appeared to you. And Yahweh said to him again, now put your hand in your bosom. And he put his hand in his bosom, and when he took it out, and see, his hand was leprous like snow. Chicken issues. Stand by. Sorry about that. Let's pick up where we left off, kinda. My bookmark's in the wrong place. Perfect. Alright. Now put your hand to your bosom. And he put his hand to his bosom, and when he took it out, and see, his hand was leprous like snow. And he, Yahweh, said, put your hand in your bosom again. So he put his hand in his bosom again and drew it out of his bosom, and see, it was restored like his other flesh. So the signs are the rod and the leprous hand, okay? And it shall be, if they do not believe you nor listen to the voice of the first sign, they shall believe the voice of the latter sign. And it shall be, if they do not believe even those 2 signs or listen to your voice, that you shall take the water from the river and pour it on dry land, and the water which you take from the land shall become blood on the dry land. 3 signs. The staff, or the rod, the leper's hand, and water into blood. Thank you, my laird and my lady. And Moshe said to Yahweh, O Yahweh, I am not a man of words, neither before nor since you have spoken to your servant, for I am slow of speech and slow of tongue. And Yahweh said to him, who has made man's mouth, or who makes dumb, or deaf, or seeing, or blind? And is it not I, Yahweh? And now go, and I shall be your mouth and teach you what to say. I will give you the words, bro. Quit worrying. Just go do it. There's a huge lesson in there for all of us. Well, I don't really know what to say. Just go, do, start talking. The Father's words will flow. But he said, Moshe said, O Yahweh, please send by the hand of him who you would send. Not me. Please, not me. And the displeasure of Yahweh burned against Moshe, and he said, is not Aaron the Levite your brother? I know that he speaks well, and see, he is also coming out to meet you. And when he sees you, he shall be glad in his heart. And you shall speak to him and put the words in his mouth. And I am with your mouth and with your mouth and with his mouth, and I shall teach you what to do. Don't worry, I'm sending you your brother Aaron, and I'll instruct both of you. And he shall speak for you to the people. And it shall be that he be a mouth for you, and you shall be an Elohim for him, or a mighty one for him. Small e, Elohim. So it is possible for people to be referred to as Elohim, a mighty one. There's a whole lesson in that as well, but that's literally the word small e, Elohim, right there. Okay. For you, and take this rod in your hand with which you shall do the signs. Oh my gosh, not the best words. And take this rod in your hand with which you shall do the signs. Then Moshe went and returned to Yether, which is like, it's a title meaning excellency, like Jethro or Jethro or whatever. It's like went and returned to the Baron or the boss, or like it's a title. His father-in-law, and said to him, please let me go and return to my brothers who are in Mitzrayim to see whether they are still alive. And Jethro, Yether, and that guy said to Moshe, go in peace. So, mini teaching right here, right? This dude has a call from the Most High. Moshe does. He's still got business to attend to here in the temporal world, okay? And his father-in-law has been good to him, right? Brought him in, gave him a wife, you know, took him under his wing, got him into the family business. Like, he's been good to him. But, you know, it would not be good for Moshe, even with this calling that he has from the Most High, to abandon his temporal responsibilities, right? So he goes to his father-in-law, is like, hey man, can I go do these things? And he's like, yeah man, go in peace, not a problem, right? Alright, and Yahweh said to Moshe, in Midian, go return to Mitzrayim, to Egypt, for all the men are dead who sought your life. The people you were worried about before, they're all dead. Don't worry about it. So Moshe took his wife and his sons and set them on a donkey, and he returned to the land of Mitzrayim. And Moshe took the rod of Elohim in his hand. And Yahweh said to Moshe, as you go back to Mitzrayim, see that you do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in your hand. But I am going to strengthen his heart, so he does not let the people go. And you shall say to Pharaoh, thus says Yahweh, Israel is my son, my firstborn. So I say to you, let my son go to serve me. But if you refuse to let him go, see, I am killing your son, your firstborn. Excuse me. So basically, what the father is telling Moses here is, tell Pharaoh, Israel is my firstborn. These are my people. You can let my firstborn go. If you don't, I, Yahweh, will take your, Pharaoh, your firstborns. You pick. What do you want? You can give me my firstborn so they can go to the wilderness and worship me, or I can take your firstborn. You pick. And Moshe has the authority of Yah. He has the rod, he has the leper's hand, and he has the blood in the water, right? And he's going to meet up with Aaron, who's going to be his mouthpiece, because Moses is slow and thick of tongue. So, and it came to be on the way, in a lodging place, that Yahweh met him and sought to kill him. Now this is a very contentious piece of scripture here. There's a lot of interpretation on this. I'm going to give you my limited understanding as Brother T, not Pastor T, or you know, whatever. Okay. Yah met Moshe and his family at the lodging place on the way, right in between Midian and Mitzrayim, to kill him. Why? Context is king. And sought to kill him. And Zipporah, Moshe's wife, took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and threw it at his feet, and said, you are indeed a bridegroom of blood to me. The covenant of Abraham is what? The Abrahamic covenant. Anybody remember? I'm listening. Yep. Circumcision. Moshe, his wife, was a Midian. He was unequally yoked. His son was not circumcised. Here goes Moshe, and this is me, okay? This is not like, I'm not a Bible scholar, this is me. Here goes Moshe to do the Father's work. Major work for the nation of Israel, right? Big deal, what he's about to undertake. And his own house isn't in order. So the father sought to kill him. Now, there's some teachings that Moshe indulged his wife, who was a Midian, right? And she in turn indulged their son, and so he had not yet been circumcised. Okay? Who knows if they ever had plans to do that, but the covenant, right, between the father and his people, Abrahamic covenant, is circumcision. The word for covenant in Hebrew is brit, which means to cut. To cut a deal, right? There's blood. There's always blood when you make a covenant, which is why the renewed covenant, the Brit Hadashah, the New Testament, is all because of the blood of the Messiah. He is the mediator of the new covenant, Hebrews 8:8. Renewed covenant, Hebrews 8:6, Yeshua is mediator. Hebrews 8:8, there will be a renewed covenant, not new, renewed covenant. Jeremiah 31 through 33 from the Septuagint. It's a bad translation into Hebrews. And then Hebrews 8:10, the our portion of the covenant, our half of the agreement, is that we have the laws written on our heart. And as a brother of mine has said to me recently, the reason they're written on our heart is because, unlike in this book, we can't just set it down and walk away. They're written in our heart. So there's always blood when a covenant is made. Okay? Brit, to cut. And the covenant between Abraham and the Most High was the cutting of the foreskin, the circumcision, as a sign between the nation of Israel and the Father, that they were his peculiar people, his set-apart people. So I bring this up because I said earlier in the intro that it had nothing to do with what we were going to talk about. Yet here I was literally carrying around temporal scars from cutting and blood that I had not repented over. About to be engaged in the Father's work, talking to y'all about this Bible. Now, I'll never put myself anywhere in the same county as Moshe and Aaron. They are like pillars of the faith, right? We don't revere people, we revere the creator of people. But we can at least acknowledge that these guys did the work, man. We wouldn't be here without them, right? So, but yet here I am, trying to read the Father's words to you in a language you can understand, speak to you in a way that you can understand his words for you, and my house is out of order. I haven't repented for these things. Well, I have as of this morning, and it's put me in a very interesting place. So, when you cut a deal, there is blood. And that is the Hebrew way of doing business. When you make a covenant forever, which they are forever sealed in blood. And that's my interpretation of why Moshe was being sought out by the Most High, and then the Most High was going to kill him because he was about to go do something extremely important, chosen by the Father, and yet his house was out of order. There's a lesson in that for all y'all. Set your house in order. Bring it to the Father. Whatever it is, bring it to the Father. And the other beautiful lesson in that is that we do have redemption through the renewed covenant and through our mediator, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. Okay? We're good. And I'm good. I don't have to worry about perishing right now or ever again, because I bring these things to the Father, and I'm covered by the sacrificial blood of the Lamb of the renewed covenant, the Brit Hadashah. So that's my interpretation of 24. There's lots of other interpretations, and there's lots of variation on that interpretation, and if you feel so moved, you can burn a week on Google and get 10 Bibles out and dig into it. But that's what I think is going on there. 26. So he, the Father, let him go. Then she said, you are a bridegroom of blood because of the circumcision. We are now in covenant with each other because of the circumcision. And Yahweh said to Aaron, it kind of jumps around a little bit. Then Yahweh said to Aaron, go meet Moshe in the wilderness. And he went to meet him in the wilderness. And he went and met him on the mountain of Elohim and kissed him. And Moshe then told Aaron all the words of Yahweh who had sent him and all the signs which he had commanded him. And Moshe went with Aaron and gathered together all the elders of the children of Israel. And Aaron spoke all the words which Yahweh had spoken to Moshe. Then he did the signs before the eyes of the people. And the people believed. And they heard that Yahweh had visited the children of Israel, and that he looked on their affliction, and they bowed their heads and did obeisance. Obeisance. They genuflected to the Most High. They bowed their heads and obeyed. And the people believed, and they heard that Yahweh had visited the children of Israel, and that he had looked on their affliction, and they bowed their heads and they obeyed. This is the blueprint for what our lives are supposed to look like. And this concept of the renewed covenant and that we're made whole by the atoning blood of the Lamb, yeah, true. But what did he do? If we're Christians, we're supposed to be Christ-like, right? We're supposed to be as much like our model as possible. What did he do? He did this. What did he preach? He preached this. What did he believe? He believed this. What did he walk? He walked this. This is what we're supposed to be doing. New chapter 5. All right. And afterwards Moshe and Aaron went in and said to Pharaoh, "Thus said Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, let my people go. O Pharaoh, Pharaoh, oh baby, let my people go." I see you, Marlo. I see you. So that they celebrate a festival to me in the wilderness. I wonder which festival that was. 3 times a year, bring all your men to the wilderness so that they may be counted. By the way, you heard it here first, we're working on that. And if you don't do it with us, do it with other saints in your area, please. We're working on that. It's something that we are gonna get better at. For real. For real, for real. Like the thesis of my life, the book says do it, you do it. Well, the book says do it, so we're gonna do it. And Pharaoh said, "Who is Yahweh that I should obey his voice and let Israel go? I do not know Yahweh, nor am I going to let Israel go." And they said, "The Elohim of the Hebrews has met with us. Please let us go 3 days' journey into the wilderness and slaughter to Yahweh our Elohim, lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword. Let us do these things or he's going to jack us up, Pharaoh." But the sovereign of Mitzrayim said to them, "Moshe and Aaron, why do you take the people from their work? Get back to your burdens." It's like you're gonna totally jack with my labor utilization. My accountant is not gonna be happy about this. I can't do it. I can't do it. We got deadlines, okay? And Pharaoh said, "See, the people of the land are many now, and you make them cease from their burdens." And the same day Pharaoh commanded the slave drivers of the people and their foremen, saying, "You know you are no longer to give the people straw to make bricks as before. Let them go and gather straw for themselves." He basically says, look, y'all have too much free time. So we're not going to bring you the materials to make bricks anymore. Now you got to go get them yourself, including the straw. "And lay on them the required amount of bricks which they made before, and do not diminish it." You still have to produce the same amount of work, but now you got to go get straw for yourself. "For they are idle. That is why they are crying out, saying, 'Let us go and slaughter to Elohim.' Let more work be laid on the men so that they labor in it and not pay attention to words of falsehood." Gentlemen, I'm going to say this again, but I want you to put this context in your mind. What are you busying yourself with? And understand here that Pharaoh's interpretation of falsehood is different from our interpretation of falsehood. Let more work be laid on the men so that they labor in it and not pay attention to words of falsehood. I would insert words of truth, the word. And the slave drivers of the people and their foremen went out and spoke to the people, saying, Thus said Pharaoh, I do not give you straw. Go take straw for yourselves wherever you find it, for your work shall not be diminished. You have to have the same amount of output, but you also have to get your own straw. And the people were scattered in all the land of Mitzrayim to gather stubble for straw. And the slave drivers were hurrying them on, saying, Fulfill your actions, your daily matters, as when there was straw. Get on with it. You need to do the same amount of work you're doing as when there was straw, but now there's not straw. Also, the foremen of the children of Israel, whom Pharaoh's slave drivers had set over them, were struck and were asked, Why have you not fulfilled your law in making bricks both yesterday and today as before? And the foreman of the children of Israel came and cried out to Pharaoh, saying, Why do you treat your servants this way? So now the slave drivers are coming to the lead Hebrews going, struck. Okay, they're beating them up. Okay, and they're asking him, why don't you have as many bricks as you used to have? Sounds kind of like the mob, right? But Tony, I'm not good for it. I told you I can't do it. You're gonna do it, Billy. Right? So, point being, sorry, my sheep are rubbing their face on the gate. I guess that feels good for them. It makes a weird noise. So, the foremen are getting beat up because they're not filling their orders, okay? Why do you treat your servants this way? 5:16, there is no straw given to your servants, and they say to us, make bricks, and see, your servants are struck, but your own people are at fault. But he said, you are idle, that is why you say, let us go and slaughter to Yahweh. So now go, work, and straw is not given to you, but deliver the amount of bricks. And the foremen of the children of Israel saw that they were in trouble, for it was said, you are not to diminish your daily amount of bricks. And when they came out from Pharaoh, they met Moshe and Aaron, who stood to meet them. And they said to them, let Yahweh look on you and judge, because you have made us loathsome in the eyes of Pharaoh. These are the foremen saying this to Moshe and Aaron. They're saying, screw you guys. God is going to judge you because you made us look like a bunch of idiots in front of Pharaoh. Okay? Let Yahweh look on you and judge, because you have made us loathsome in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of his servants, to give us a sword in our hand to kill us. They're going to kill us because of you guys. You know, we were barely keeping up with bricks before. Now because of you guys saying, oh, we got to go slaughter to Yahweh. Now we got to keep making bricks, but they're not giving us any straw. So they weren't too happy about this. And Moshe returned to Yahweh and said, Yahweh, why have you done evil to this people? Why did you send me? For ever since I came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has done evil to this people, and you have not delivered your people at all. 6. Be warned, there are begats. So everybody got a picture of what's going on here? And Yahweh said to Moshe, now see what I do to Pharaoh, for with a strong hand he is going to let them go, and with a strong hand he is going to drive them out from his land. He's like, look, I'm hardening his heart. When he does let you go, he's going to let you go. Like, I'm basically going to make you a pain in his butt, okay? And Elohim spoke to Moshe and said to him, I am Yahweh, and I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, thank you, wind, to Jacob as El Shaddai. Now there's some words right there. And I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob as El Shaddai. And by my name, Yahweh, I was not known to them. Was I not known to them? And by my name, Yahweh, was I not known to them? They know who I am, okay? He's establishing his bona fides with Moshe here. He's like, look, bro, your ancestors, I'm the same guy. I'm the same God. And I also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land of their sojournings in which they have sojourned. And I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Mitzrites are enslaving, and I have remembered my covenant. Imagine that. Say therefore to the children of Israel, I am Yahweh, and I shall bring you out from under the burdens of the Mitzrites, and shall deliver you from their enslaving, and shall redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments. and shall take you as my people, and I shall be your Elohim, and you shall know that I am Yahweh, your Elohim, who is bringing you out from underneath the burdens of the Mitzrites. And I shall bring you into the land which I swore to give to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give it to you as an inheritance. I am Yahweh. And Moshe spoke thus to the children of Israel, but they did not listen to Moshe because of shortness of spirit and from hard slavery. But they did not listen to Moshe because of shortness of spirit and hard slavery. Police yourselves, just as I need to police myself, that we are not short in spirit. We're subjecting ourselves to hard slavery and not hearing the words of the Most High. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Go in, speak to Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, the king of Egypt, and let the children of Israel go out of this land. And Moshe spoke before Yahweh, saying, The children of Israel have not listened to me, and why would Pharaoh listen to me? For am I of uncircumcised lips? He's like, I'm not an Egyptian. Right? Pharaoh's not going to listen to me. I'm not an Egyptian. Am I not of uncircumcised lips? And Yahweh spoke to Moshe and said to Aaron, and gave them a command for the children of Israel and for Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, to bring the children of Israel out of the land of Mitzrayim. These are the heads of their fathers' houses. Guys, listen, we are going to plow from 14 to 25. Are you ready? And go. These are the heads of their fathers' houses, the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, Hanok and Palu, Hetzron and Carmi, and these are the clans of Reuben, and the sons of Simeon, Yemuel, and Yamin, and Ohad, and Yakin, and Shohar, and Shaul, the son of the Canaanite woman. And these are the clans of Simeon, and these are the names of the sons of Levi according to their generations, Gershon, and Kehath, and Merari. And the year of the life of Levi were 137, and the sons of Gershon, Libni, and Shimi, according to their clans, and the sons of Kehath, Amram, and Yichar, and Hebron, and Uziel, and the years of the life of Kehath were 133, and the sons of Merari, Mahali, and Mushi, and these are the clans of Levi according to their generations. And Amram took for himself Jochebed, his father's sister's wife. Crazy, okay, that's cool, Jerry, and she bore him Aaron and Moshe. And after the years of the life of Amram were 137, and the sons of Yitzhar, which is Korah, and Nepheg, and Zikri, and the sons of Uziel, which were Mishael, and Elsashabacha, and Sithri. Aaron took to himself Elisheba, daughter of Amadimadabad, and sister Amadimajab? Okay, sister of Nashon as wife, and she bore him Nadab and Abivahu, and Eleazar, and Ithamar, and the sons of Korah, Asir, Elkanah, and Abiasaph, and the clans of the Korites. And Eleazar, Aaron's son, took for himself one of the daughters of Putiel as wife, and she bore him Phinehas, and these are the heads of the fathers of the Levites according to their clans. This is Aaron and Moshe, to whom Yahweh said, Bring out the children of Israel from the land of Mitzrayim according to their divisions. They were the ones who spoke to Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, to bring out the children of Israel from Mitzrayim. This is Moshe and Aaron. And it came to be, they're establishing their, what do I want to call it? Their family tree, basically, their genealogy, okay? Saying, look, we came from the house of Levi and this and that and yada yada, okay? We're legit, okay? And it came to be on the day when Yahweh spoke to Moshe in the land of Mitzrayim, that Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, I am Yahweh, speak to Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, all that I say to you. And Moshe said before Yahweh, See, I am of uncircumcised lips, and why would Pharaoh listen to me? So Yahweh said to Moshe, See, I have made you an Elohim. Well, let's see, can we do 7? Yeah, it's not that long. We'll do 7. So Yahweh said to Moshe, see, I have made you an Elohim, small e, or a mighty one. I've made you a mighty one to Pharaoh. Basically, I've made you like a god to Pharaoh, okay? And Aaron your brother is your prophet, and you shall speak all that I command you, and Aaron your brother shall speak to Pharaoh, to let the children of Israel go out of his land. But I am going to harden the heart of Pharaoh, and shall increase my signs and my wonders in the lands of Mitzrayim. And Pharaoh is not going to listen to you, and I shall lay my hand on Mitzrayim, and bring my divisions and my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Mitzrayim by great judgments. It's about to go down. And the Mitzrites shall know that I am Yahweh when I stretch out my hand on Mitzrayim, and I shall bring the children of Israel out from among them. And Moshe and Aaron did as Yahweh commanded them, so they did. Now Moshe was 80 years old, and Aaron was 83 years old when they spoke to Pharaoh. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, when Pharaoh speaks to you, saying, show a miracle for yourselves, then you shall say to Aaron, take your rod and throw it before Pharaoh, and let it become a serpent. Do that roddy, snaky thing. Okay? So Moshe and Aaron went to Pharaoh, and they did the roddy, snaky thing, as Yahweh had commanded them. And Aaron threw his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. But Pharaoh also called his wise men and his practicers of witchcraft, and they, the magicians of Mitzrayim, also did the same with their magic. So Pharaoh's like, neat trick. Hey, Steve, do the roddy, snaky thing. And Steve was like, shabam, roddy, snaky thing. Pharaoh's like, is that all you got? And they each one threw down their rod, and it became serpents. But the rod of Aaron swallowed up their rods. Oh, snap. Okay. And Pharaoh's heart was strengthened, and he did not listen to them as Yahweh had said. And Yahweh said to Moshe, the heart of Pharaoh is hard. He refuses to let the people go. Go to Pharaoh in the morning as he goes out by the water, and you shall stand by the river's bank to meet him, and take in your hand the rod which was turned into a serpent. And you shall say to Pharaoh, Yahweh, the Elohim of the Hebrews, has sent me to you. Gosh, the words today. And you shall say to Pharaoh, you, Moshe and Aaron, say to Pharaoh that Yahweh, the Elohim of the Hebrews, are we getting the context right here, has sent me to you, saying, let my people go so that they serve me in the wilderness. But see, until now you have not listened. Thus said Yahweh, by this you know that I am Yahweh. See, I am striking the waters which are in the river with the rod that is in my hand, and they shall be turned to blood. And the fish in the river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Mitzrites shall find it impossible to drink the water of the river. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, say to Aaron, take your rod and stretch out your hand over the waters of Mitzrayim, over their streams, the rivers, over the ponds, over all the pools of water, that they become blood. And there shall be blood in all the land of Mitzrayim, both in the wooden and stone containers. So not like all the water, all of it. And Moshe and Aaron did so, as Yahweh commanded, and he lifted up the rod and struck the waters that were in the river, in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of his servants, and all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood. We talked a little bit last week about Moshe, Miriam, and water. Water is a recurring theme, right? You can't live without water. Let any man who thirsts come to me and drink of the water of eternal life, or some such thing, Yeshua said. And the river and the fish that were in the river died, and the river stank, and the Mitzrites were unable to drink the water of the river, and the blood was all in the land of Mitzrayim. And the magicians of Mitzrayim did the same with their magic, and the heart of Pharaoh was strengthened, and he did not listen to them as Yahweh had said. And Pharaoh turned and went to his house, and his heart was not moved by this either. And all the Mitzrites dug all around the river for water to drink, for they were unable to drink the water of the river. And 7 days were completed after Yahweh had struck the river. So for a week, no water. We're going to end there today. We're kind of right smack dab in the middle of this story, but if I just kept reading, we'd have a 4-hour-long video, and for some of y'all that'd probably be okay, and for some of y'all it would not be okay. So I just think we're gonna end there. You know what I'm getting out of all of this is that even when you don't feel like you can do what the Father asks you to do, just do it. That's where I'm at this morning, is number one, get your house in order so that you can do his work, right? If you have something to lay at his feet, lay it at his feet and get rid of it, be done with it. Now, these scars and these tattoos that I have, they're not going to magically disappear. But they're also not going to matter anymore. So that's cool. That's what we do. We repent, right? Get your house in order so you can do what the Father asks you to do, so he doesn't show up on the side of the road and try and kill you. There's something. That's for real. And then when you are doing what he tells you to do, pretty much remember that the how is none of your business. His business is the how. Your business is the why, and the why is because Yah told you to. So, our half of the bargain is that we go forth and do what these laws written on our heart. We don't sweat the how, right? We just do our best to be the best servants that we can. And when we're not, we apologize to the Father for our transgression. We repent of our sins, and we go forth and we sin no more. And we do all that because he tells us to. And if we do what he tells us to do, then all of a sudden we're in the right frame of mind, the right frame of spirit to do the work that he has outlined for us. So if we are where we're supposed to be doing what we're supposed to do, what is supposed to happen for us will happen, because his business is the how. He handles the how. Moshe, don't worry about it. I'm in charge of the how. That's what he tells us. He does the how. The how is none of our business. Shalom, y'all.